actually that left molecular dynamics went to a company in Davis called Zogen. And at the time we thought it was sequenced DNA. It turned out at the time it didn't actually sequence DNA. Nice idea. Well, lo and behold, what could possibly happen but ABI bought Zogen. And everybody said, oh, ABI bought Zogen, that's interesting. Well, it took us a while to realize when ABI was going to take possession of Zogen, they had the only prototype of Megabase that was not at Molecular Dynamics. So Rick and I went to Hanzel's truck rental in Palo Alto and rented a van and drove up that night and met some Zogen guys at midnight. And we're at the loading dock, loading up the only prototype of the multi-capillary DNA sequencer the day before ABI took possession of the site, loading it into our truck, and then in the early morning driving it back to Sunnyvale.
Hanzel and Schultz, and he looked at me and said, you should lose a little beard to your tie. But my mother always told me, don't lose your tie, better have no tie. So next day I came like everybody with jeans and t-shirt, and Rick said, now you look much better.
Okay, I remember one time finding a Megabase machine in the back, and instead of being programmed to say like Megabase number 1, etc., Rick had programmed it to read Megabase, only it said mega big ass capillary electrophoresis.
Cross that bridge after it's gone, after we're way past. Won't you ride me high? Tomorrow's the day my mind's gonna come. Oh, we're gonna fly down in the easy chair.
Well, once Rick and I were invited to a scientific meeting called Scanning, which was about scanning instruments. And I don't know, it was Scanning 95 or 96. Well, it was going to be in Monterey, California. So we decided we would take El Barco Negro to Monterey, California. So, normally, Molecular Dynamics reimburses you 35 cents a mile or so for work travel. Well, we took the boat to Monterey at 35 cents a mile, but nautical mile, which is shorter. But also, it was about 150 miles because the first day was to we had to go to San Francisco and then go out the Golden Gate. So the first day, we went up to the gate and we went out and it was too scary and we turned around and we came to Tiburon. And Rick didn't know Tiburon or Angel Island very well, and I said, no, we'll go to the Anchor Cafe. Well, the boat I grew up on was 30 feet long, Rick's was 41 feet long. And I said, we'll just come in here and we'll come in under sail. There was a beautiful light breeze out of the north. We only had the mizzen up. We were looking good. And this is like a Friday night, so beautiful night. All the beautiful people out in Tiburon. And so we come in and there's a sign, no boats longer than 30 feet long permitted. And I ignored it and Rick goes, oh my God, we're 41, we won't fit. And I said, no, we'll fit, trust me, it'll be fine. And so we're steaming in, and no motor, full sail, we dropped the mizzen, still gliding in, and fired up the motor, and we spun the boat around 270 degrees, and then backed into the only available berth at the Anchor Cafe, and didn't hit anything. It was so good that there's maybe 150 people at the Anchor restaurant who were watching the boat, because what else you want to see a boat hit something, that probably 50 people stood up and applauded his helmsmanship. Rick was so freaked out that we hit the dock, I jumped off, I tied the boat down. He went downstairs to lay down for a half hour because he thought for sure he was going to hit millions of dollars worth of boats, and his boat was way too big and he couldn't possibly do this, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh! So Rick is
well known and could not deny being called Dr. Asshole, because one day, when we had moved into a new building, we had a very large area, big expanse, and I needed Rick to answer a question. He's halfway across the room, and I go, Rick, Rick, and he's in one of his general pissed off moods like Rick is. So he turns around and goes, "That's Dr. Asshole."
Rick needed a place to live in the Bay Area, and Rick, being a frugal sort, wanted someplace that didn't cost him anything. So he found that he could get up through a crawl hole up above the men's bathroom at Molecular Dynamics and get up on the roof. And so it was in the roof or in the attic space. It was actually on the roof, wasn't it?
It was on the roof. It was a whole summer on the roof.
So he lived up on the roof without anybody knowing it for the longest time, or at least not the important people knowing it for a long time. But finally one day, Jay Flatley had gotten in earlier, the CEO, and Jay and Rick came down from the roof while Jay was in the men's room there taking a shower or something, and then it was all over.
Funniest thing was when Rick was at Centenny. He was working on some microwave systems, and I came out there to visit him to see what was going on. And he goes, "Hey, you got to take a look at this thing over here." And it turned out to be the Axon Beta instruments. And my response to that was, "Oh shit," because we had a big development effort going on to make a microwave scanner. It was going to be about 10 times bigger, uglier, and not perform as well. And so Rick goes, "Yeah, I thought you'd want to see that." So it's a subtle way of basically saying, "Yeah, you're."
You know, and so I'm driving his boat and we're going back and we get into this fog and all of a sudden you can't see anything. I mean, you can't see 100 feet and we're hearing, we've been talking on the way out. Now what happens to small boats occasionally, the San Francisco Bay is one of these big tankers that's 1,000 feet long, comes through and they just walk. And so we're coming back in and there's the sound of this foghorn or this horn. And I'm driving, and we have the GPS, and we're following that because we can't see it all. And it's not like if we had to plot this on a map and get the directions, all that, we're in big trouble. But we have the GPS, which we could just spot, and they just come out. And we get there, and we get from 40 yards away, 30 yards away, maybe less, and it's the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's that foghorn. And we were good. And that was also when I realized with Rick and by myself, I'd like to have radar. Can I just have radar?